I'm going to give you the three best options for the Chicago Bears to take with the 9th overall pick in the draft this season, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us. For real, though, hit that like button. I appreciate y'all who have all been showing love. But a lot of people come in here and they just get to listening. They don't even realize that there's two things that have gone on the Windy City Breeze over the last few months. A lot of people tap in with us that are brand new, and we appreciate y'all for being here and just stay because they keep seeing the content pop up and don't realize they haven't hit the subscribe button. And a lot of people come in and listen and don't realize that they haven't left that like because they're so engrossed in the content. We appreciate you guys for all the support, but if y'all could do those two things for me, it would be appreciated. Now let's get to the episode, because I think that we have a interesting option or plethora, I should say, of options here at 9 for the Chicago Bears. I think at this point, number one is guaranteed. Caleb Williams coming to Chicago. After watching his pivot interview, if you think he's not coming to Chicago, I don't know what you're watching. I got nothing left for you. I got nothing else. I don't know. He's probably going to be here, right? So with all that being said, what is the best option for the Chicago Bears with the 9th overall pick if they're not to trade back? I want to do this scenario because I think trade back is an option that a lot of people have talked about, and we're going to talk about today on the Daily Show. Some options that the Bears might have outside of trading this 9th pick to acquire some more draft capital. So tune in with us at 6 p.m. tonight. Me and the Breeze Crew live. But if you're taking this pick, holding on to this 9th overall pick, who are the best names that the Chicago Bears are going to have available to them? And I think it starts here, right? When you look at a guy like Rome Odunze, I mean, listen, what more is there to be said about Rome Odunze at this point? We've talked about him ad nauseum. He was an absolute dog, big body receiver for the Chicago Bears, 6'3", about 220 pounds, great speed that could be added here onto this team. And I know a lot of people look at that and say, well, listen, why do we want another receiver? This is not just another receiver. This is a receiver that if he was the only guy coming out this year, Mel Kiper talked about this when he was on, that he would be the number one guy in the draft. He has the wide receiver position right now ranked 1, 2, and 3. MHJ, Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, but has all three of these guys coming away with the same grade because he thinks their talent is that close together. When you look at the receptions here, 92 receptions last season, 1,600 yards, 17.8 reception or average, I should say, on the year, 13 touchdowns last season. 52 yards was his longest touchdown last year. He combines the speed, he combines the size, he combines the hands. He's very aggressive at the offensive line, and he's very aggressive trying to get off of the offensive line. I think that's something very similar to, and we've heard this reported. To me, I see him as a kind of as like a Larry Fitzgerald type of guy, but a lot of people, especially right in the ESPN circles, different things like that, are talking about him as a Jamar Chase type of receiver, a little bit, sooner, but just a guy where, listen, he's going to be sure-handed. He's going to be able to bring in the football. You've got Caleb Williams coming in. Yes, you do have Keenan Allen. Yes, you do have DJ Moore. But then you're talking about, okay, what are the long-term options that I have at the wide receiver position? Because Keenan Allen may be a 1 to 2 year guy. Doesn't mean he's going to be here for 4, 5 years, right? There's going to come a time where age is going to catch up with them. Father time, it happens to everybody. And so you kind of look at Keenan Allen and say, I love the fact that you're here now. I love the fact that we're heading into next season with you, and I hope that you help Caleb to kind of make his transition easier, but I also hope that you're there to try and allow a young receiver to improve. And not to say that he can't help some of the young receivers that are on the roster already, right? I think that's kind of where a lot of people look at it and say, oh, so we're just done with Tyler Scott. We're just done with Velus Jones, although we're probably a little more done with Velus Jones. And I don't think that's the case. I think that we just want to see some development, and having two veteran guys who are in the building that know how to do it helps with development. But I can't bet everything on a guy that struggled to, hey, guess what? Catch the football last season. That's an important part of playing wide receiver in the NFL, catching the football. It's something Velus Jones has struggled with his entire time in the league. It's something that Tyler Scott struggled with his rookie year. Not to say that they can't move in the right direction, but is that something you can trust? I think if you have an opportunity at 9 to go get Rome Odunze and he's available to you, you absolutely go out there and make that move. Now, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Do you like Rome Odunze? Do you feel like he's somebody that will be there for the Bears at 9? And do you think that he is that piece that you can't allow to get past you if you get the 9? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Now, somebody else who's possibly going to be there for the Chicago Bears at 9, and this may be a little bit of a... This might feel like a little bit of a reach to some people, not a massive reach, but that you could trade back and possibly get him later. But I think if he's somebody who's on the board, which I do believe he will be, that if you took him at 9, nobody would be upset. If you took him at 9, nobody would sit there and go, oh my God, how in the heck did you take this guy this early? You could have traded back 15 spots and gotten him. And that's Jared Verse. I mean, listen, Jared Verse last season, absolute monster on the field. 9 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 23 solo tackles, 41 total tackles. And I mean, listen, just flying around his entire college career. He had 18 sacks in college in total, 9 sacks each season. You're talking about pairing this guy opposite Montez Sweat. I don't think that you can go wrong with a name like Jared Verse. And the reason that I go Jared Verse here is because I don't believe that Dallas Turner will be on the board. Jared Verse is somebody who, listen, great moves to get off on the edge. I think he does a really good job when he's allowed to pin his ears back. I think that as far as being able to do so many things on the field, he's kind of what this hybrid type of linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end has become in the NFL. When you look at a guy like Micah Parsons, I see some similarities there where you look at his game and you're like, yeah, you could do some things with him standing up. You could do some things with him dropping back. You also can do some things with him attacking the quarterback, which is the main thing and what I want to see him doing most. I think that Jared Verse out of FSU is just an absolute dog and somebody who, I mean, listen, it's not a miss if you look at Jared Verse's game, if you look at his stats, if you look at him in totality and say, I think that we can't risk somebody being enamored with him, so we have to take him here. I would be absolutely fine with that. I would say then, okay, how are you going to create more draft capital here? Because I think that Jared Verse might be the type of player that you could trade back for. But I mean, outside of that, I see no problems with adding a guy like this opposite Montez Sweat. In fact, I think that it makes the perfect amount of sense. 6'4", 260 pounds right now. Great speed off of the edge. Good arm length, 33.5-inch arm length. I love the hand size on this guy. I feel like, you know, he's somebody who you could get two bookend guys on that defensive end, and all of a sudden you're sitting there talking about this defense being a dominant defense. And I think his transition is made even easier in year one because you know there's going to be more opportunity for you in passing downs to go after guys because you have a guy like Montez Sweat already there, because you're hoping that Javon Dexter is able to take that next step. If he is able to take that next step, now you're getting that pressure up the middle. I think you're going to have quarterbacks running left and right. Jared Verse may come away in his rookie year with 5.5 sacks somewhere in there. And so I think that adding him to this defense that is already there is really good to see. Absolutely a strong guy. You saw that in the combine as well. 31 reps on the bench press. So just a guy who's got the right mindset, who's got the right mentality, who I think fits really well with this Chicago Bears team, who I love his burst off of the edge. I love how he's able to, I think that he's a guy who has a ton of moves that allow him to go from the outside to inside really quickly. And I think that he's somebody that the Bears should absolutely be eyeballing. And I would not be surprised to see the Bears say, hey, listen, this is a guy that we got to take here because we don't want to risk somebody else getting enamored with him, moving up and taking him because we tried to move back. So let me know how you guys feel on Jared Verse. Do you feel like 9 would be a little bit high for Jared Verse, or do you think if the Bears took Jared Verse, you'd be fine with him going there opposite Montez Sweat? You're getting that answer on the defensive end, so you're going offense, defense, first round. And of course, we got to answer the questions about how the Bears are going to get back into the second and or third round. Like I said, we'll talk about that tonight on the Windy City Breeze as well, so tune in with us tonight. Our final one, our number 3 guy that I think the Bears should absolutely be looking at 9. And I've been very consistent with this. While Jared Verse to me, and I've kind of ordered these in a way where maybe I'm not really going by positional importance here, but I'm going by the level of talent that you can get at that position. So to me, Rome Odunze is the most talent that you can get at 9. He's the most talented player that you can get at 9 as far as what he's going to bring to the team. I think Jared Verse is 2. With this guy, I do feel like 9 would be a little bit of a reach. I don't know if I would say that you can't do it. Or that I'd be out on it, but I do feel like it would be a little bit of a reach that you could probably get him later in the draft. But if it answers a question for you, again, I've said this, if you're talking about 10-year starters with this whole thing, I'd be fine just taking Jackson Powers Johnson 9. I'd be like, well, look at that. We took a center 9. Here we go. We've got our starting center for the next 10 years. I'd be fine with it. Why? Because I've got an answer at a premier position that I need to have answered because I don't have answers there. Yes, you have Ryan Bates. Yes, you have Coleman Shelton. Yes, those guys do have played center in the NFL already. Are those the long-term answers? Ryan Bates, maybe a little bit younger. Coleman Shelton, he's been a starter, but I don't know. I got my questions. So I say all that to say, not that I'm going Jackson Powers Johnson here, but I'm okay with you reaching a little bit if this guy's the answer, but this would be one where I'd have to see it play out during the season, and it would put a ton of pressure on him, and that's Olu Fashanu. I think that Olu Fashanu at left tackle, first off, let's go out and get a real left tackle. Let's not go out and get a right tackle that we feel has the ability to play left tackle so that we can have that versatility. Let's get a guy that knows what the heck he's doing over there on the left side. In 2023, 542 snaps at left tackle last season, only allowed 6 hurries throughout the entire season. No sacks were allowed, 7 pressures allowed on the season, but he did not allow a single sack throughout that year. And I think that that's something to really look at. Now you're getting your bookend tackles here where you went right tackle one year, you go left tackle next year. Olu Fashanu would be a guy that I think you could input right away, especially if he's a top 10 pick, and you could see him hit the ground running. I love the hands on him. I love how he throws that left hand out there, gets that jab in guys' faces. I think that much better of a pass rush or pass blocker than a run blocker. I don't think that that's any surprise here, and I'm okay with that because I expect Shane Waldron to be throwing the football more than he's running the football. Not to say that Olu Fashanu can't be a run blocker in this outside zone scheme that the Bears like to run, but I do think that there's something to be said about a guy that has really good feet, that's able to get downhill, that really is able to get his hands out quickly, that's able to set the edge and allow that pocket to be created. I think that Olu Fashanu really addresses all of that. I do think that there's some questions. I'm not listen, if I kill Braxton, I got to kill him a little bit on this too. I think that the bull rush may be a little bit of a struggle for Olu Fashanu, but I do think Olu Fashanu has more counter moves that allow him to fight back on that bull rush, which allows him to not end up struggling and allowing sacks at the end of the day. And I think that realistically speaking, I know a lot of people look at Braxton and say he's a 5th round pick. He's been great for the Bears. In his time here, he's developed every year. I agree with that. But are we getting to the point where we're getting towards a ceiling with him where I think Olu Fashanu comes in and is probably already, and now you don't know this until you get there, but at least talent-wise, right? I think he's already at a point where the things he has to learn is what Braxton is kind of already doing. And so they're kind of neck and neck here if you take Olu Fashanu now. That means Olu Fashanu has the ability to go here this season where Braxton, can he continue to develop? But if he's developing at the pace that we saw last season, also dealing with some injuries, so there is that to take into account as well. But if he's developing at that pace where you're kind of just like, I'm still seeing some of these same mistakes. I'm still seeing you struggle with the bull rush. I'm still seeing you get run over. I'm still seeing you get pushed back. Into my quarterback, I can't take that risk with Caleb Williams out there. And so I'm fine with maybe overdrafting a little bit here at the left tackle position to get that answer. Now, if Joe Alt is anywhere near you, I'm not gonna lie. If Joe Alt falls to 8, you might, I don't know why the Titans would let him go past. I think it's a lock. Joe Alt is a Titan. I think that is a lock. But it also depends on how the top 5 in the draft fall out? Do we see the wide receiver run happen? Do we see the quarterback run not go off the board? Are people going to try to trade up, which I think could interest the Titans as well, which means Joe Alt maybe continues to fall because people are moving up for quarterbacks, different things like that. If Joe Alt's there, absolutely F everybody else that I just said. You go get Joe Alt. I'm talking Roma Dunze, every single one of them. No, you go get Joe Alt. But if he's not there, which I think he'll be the first person taken off the board, I would love to see Olaf Shanu as a Chicago Bear. Again, I think 9 may be a little bit of an overdraft on him, but I do think he's the answer. And so I'm fine with going overdraft for a long-term answer, especially a long-term answer at a position where, I mean, my God, is Big Cat Williams the last great left tackle we had? My God, I think that's right. That's tough. I mean, you're going back that far. You're going back that far to talk about the Bears having a dominant left tackle. I think that it's a position that if you have the ability to address it, you absolutely address it, especially with a young quarterback. I understand what Pat Mahomes has been able to do with no tackles. I understand what Joe Burrow has been able to do with no tackles. I don't want that. I want answers on the offensive line. So if you can get some answers, go out and get them. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. What do you think about the 3 players that I have that the Chicago Bears should absolutely be looking to take if they're available at 9? Let me know in the comments below. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Make sure you guys are tuned in with us here on the Windy City Breeze at 6 p.m. as we go live for the daily show as we do every Monday through Friday. And make sure that you guys are signing up. The 30K watch party is going, or I'm sorry, the 30K subscriber celebration party is going to be at Logan 11 on May 11th. Tune in with us. Link is in the description below to the event. Sign up over there. $20 to get in the door. Get you one free drink, and I believe an appetizer. And it's going to be a great night of music, great night of fun, great night of partying, great night of dancing, great night of kicking it with the Breeze crew. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.